So good morning all. We'll wait for 2 minutes for the speaker to join. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He will be going through the program in his office. Professor C. Yes. Yes, sure. సార్ దగ్గర ఇంటరాక్ట్ అవ్వండి. సార్ ఇంటరాక్ట్ అవ్వండి. గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్. అన్మ్యూట్ చేయండి. అన్మ్యూట్ రిక్వెస్ట్ సెంట్.
Yeah, perfect.
Now you can.
I know the place where MS Rao used to live, no, earlier. Yeah, yeah,
Sir garu.
good, right. Yeah,
Good morning, sir.
good morning.
Good morning, students. So this session is dedicated to Dasarat Manji, and he is popularly known as Mountain Man. Okay, so where Dasarat Manji is popularly known as the Mountain Man, where he has proved that nothing is impossible to achieve. So his life gives a moral lesson that a common man, even without money or power, can change a mighty mountain. So he was a laborer in Galwar village near Gaya in Bihar, India. He was a flag bearer of social justice. He has carved a path through mountains for about 22 years with just hammer and chisel, and has shortened travel distance between three and Wazirganj blocks of Gaya town from 5 kilometers to 15 kilometers. So one day his wife, who was pregnant, accidentally slipped and fell down from the mountain while carrying food for Dasarat Manji. When someone from the village alerted Dasarat that his wife has fallen down from the mountain, he runs into panic and took her blood-splattered wife to the nearest hospital that was 70 kilometers away, where she was declared brought dead. But she gave birth to a baby girl. Heartbroken Manji then began to break the mountain in the memory of his beloved wife. He took a hammer and a chisel and embarked on a tough and almost impossible mission. He decided to carve out a path so that no other person suffers like his wife. So, though the villagers and others ridiculed him for challenging a huge mountain, he was adamant on his firm decision. So, after that, the Bihar government proposed his name for the Padma Shri Award in 2006 in the social service sector. The first episode of season 2 of the Amir Khan hosted TV show Satyamev Jayate, aired in March 2014, was dedicated to Dasarat Manji. In August 2015, a Hindi movie Manji, The Mountain Man, was released and well received. A stamp featuring Dasarat Manji was released by Indian Post in the Personalities of Bihar series on 26 December 2016. So the link between the Givra Moja in Gahlor Ghati to this Wazirganj made by Dasarat Manji in 22 years, and that the images you can see here, and that this reduced the distance from his village to the nearest hospital, reduced by 40 kilometers. Now we welcome our honorable speaker K N Kumar sir. Thank you sir for accepting our invitation. He is a member of the Indian Administrative Service 1987 batch, Assam Meghalaya cadre. He is a mentor to civil servants, a trainer in ethics, an ardent organic farmer, and a writer. So he has completed his masters in public administration, Harvard University, USA, and masters in agriculture, APAU, Hyderabad. and then he was a member of Indian Administration Service. Is chairman Meghalaya Farmers Commission, additional chief secretary Government of Meghalaya, Agricultural Production Commissioner Government of Meghalaya, chief executive National Fisheries Development Board, principal secretary Agriculture, Animal Husbandry, Dairying, Fisheries, Textiles Corporation, Government of Meghalaya. Is Deputy Director General, NIRD, Hyderabad, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, New Delhi, Director, SGSY, Ministry of Rural Development, New Delhi, and is Commissioner Secretary, Agriculture and Fisheries, Government of Meghalaya, Shillong. Is Director, Department of Agriculture Research. Is Director, Department of Agricultural Research and Education, New Delhi, Deputy Director, LBS NAA, Mussoorie, Secretary, Meghalaya State Electricity Board, Shillong, Deputy Commissioner, Rebhoj District, Meghalaya, Additional Deputy Commissioner, West Garo Hills District, Tura, Subdivisional Officer, Sampatkumar, Meghalaya, Assistant Commissioner, Jorhat, Assam. And he has introduced strawberry in Meghalaya, launched mission for turmeric. Aquaculture mission has provided livelihood to 25,000 farmers, and skill development initiative has given livelihood to nearly 2 crore young people and launched the Meghalaya Milk Mission. Welcome, sir. Welcome for the session, and you can take over the session. And you can continue the session till 11 a.m. and you can extend by 10 more minutes to 11:10.
Thank you very much, Dr. Viresh. I hope I am clearly audible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
And okay, good. Thanks. Thanks, Dr. Viresh and Professor CSP Rao Garu, Dean, as well as the senior academic team for giving me this opportunity to address the young people who joined the National Institute of Technology, Tadepalligudi. Forgive my dress because I am speaking to you from Shillong. Shillong, as I speak, has a temperature of about 9 degrees now. Otherwise, I could have been a little more formally dressed and then formally presented myself. But this temperature doesn't let me do any of those things. So kindly forgive me for that. I know lots of young people are there. And please don't make me a role model when it comes to dress sense because I'm pretty poor about that. But you should, I'm sure, you all will be very well dressed in your life. And I also understand that most of you are entering this prestigious NITs through the dint of your hard work and serious effort. And if you continue to be sincere, I'm certain you will have good careers in the field of engineering and allied branches, and your contributions to the country will be worthy and notable in times to come. Since your academics is in the hands of very competent faculty of the NIT, I will not speak to you about your need to excel in the academics. That's not my responsibility for today's session. I will want to speak to you about the responsibilities that young people should to understand and follow, show. Because I have a conviction that future of the country is critically dependent upon how the youth shape themselves beyond the academics. Academics is important and academics will be well taken care of by your faculty. I won't worry so much because NITs are very well funded by the government of India. So there should not be any shortages of infrastructure. So you should do very well in that. But there is something which is beyond academics. That's what I would like to concentrate on in the limited time that I have. So I would like to call this as academics plus. Just for the sake of rhetoric, of course, it doesn't really convey any more meaning than that. Academics plus. What is that plus I want to talk about? And why I have chosen this topic? It's because I have this perception, and correct me if I'm wrong, that today's youth, by and large, give higher importance to their rights more than their duties, be their duties to the society where they pursue their lives or the country to which they belong. And why do I think that it is necessary for me to speak to the students of NIT about your responsibility toward the nation more than the others? It is because 50% of the central government's funds for higher education in the last 3 years have gone to just 3% of the country's youth, country's students belonging to the Indian Institutes of Technology, Indian Institutes of Management, and the National Institutes of Technology. Just remember this. The country is investing 50% of its entire higher education budget to just three groups of organizations, that is the IITs, IIMs, and NITs. So you belong to that privileged class. And that means the balance 97% of the students belonging to the country get only 50% of the total funds, whereas you alone, just by being within that 3%, get 50%. So it is now necessary for us to look at your responsibility more than others, because the country is investing more on you than the others. So therefore, it's not just a responsibility which someone is telling you. It's a responsibility that should come from within you. So that's what I will consider as the moral responsibility of a student who studies at NIT. Now, I want to approach this subject from three levels, three layers. The first is your responsibility to yourself. The second is your responsibility to the immediate social environment around you. And the third one is your larger responsibility to the nation, to the country. Let me talk to you about your responsibility to yourself. I don't think I should speak much about how you are going to be impacted by the technology, because the very institute in which you are studying is called the National Institute of Technology. So it should be amply clear to you as well as to all of us that you would be surrounded by or drowned upon your drowned into various kinds of technology depending upon your chosen field of specialization. Since most of you are heavily gadget centric and technology oriented, be in the form of mobile phones to laptops, desktops, and servers, and all that, undeniably, they all benefit you in terms of enhancing your productivity. There's no question about that. You'll be pretty adept at handling the technology in times to come if you are not already adapted. But that is the positive side, that it will enhance your competence and professional productivity. But there is also a negative side to it. It's because once you're seduced by the technology, you end up spending more time than necessary to it at a personal level. So much so that you will miss out on the essential part of living a complete life. Your routine will create your habits, and your habits will make you whatever you are going to be. So the rigorous academic schedules of the NIT also will complicate the matters, will add up to this complication. And finally, you'll be left with no time for yourself. You will inundate yourself with so much of academics that at the end of the day, you will stop growing as a human being. Now, there are people who will say that, okay, we'll postpone it, and then we will at some point of time, we will start handling these purposeful activities of life. But there is no such thing as postponement when it comes to life. You have to lead your lives. You have been brought into this world by the nature to achieve certain things in life. And that is, academics is only a part of that story. The story is much bigger than that. So because of this excessive fixation, or call it as obsession, with the time-consuming technologies, you end up disturbing your circadian rhythm of the body. Body has a certain cycle. That's called the circadian cycles. So when we were students, that is, we grew up thinking that Nights are meant for sleep, rest, and recuperation, and days are meant for work. However, I find that this generation, the generation to which you belong, works during the night and sleeps during the day, if not in the classrooms. I think at least 30 to 40% of the children will sleep in the classrooms. I don't want you to turn out to be like that, because that will mean that you are disturbing your body cycles, and it will tell on your health as you add years to your body. This happens. And I've seen that, especially those who are in the software sector in Hyderabad, because I've seen some of them. Some of them happen to be in my own family, so I can know that. I'm saying it with personal evidence. They've become fat, they become obese, they're lazy. Whole day they look as if they're sluggish and they're not active at all. And I don't want you to be like that, because that will the first casualty will be your fitness. As a generation, a good number of boys and girls belonging to your age group are either obese or not fully fit. They fall sick very soon, and their immunity levels are pretty low because they give no attention to sports and games. This is a loss to your youth, because if you don't play games or sports when you're young, you will not be able to play them when you get older, because you will not have developed the skills to play those games once you get older. And then, even if you have time and even if you want to do it, you can't do that. So, you are focusing on learning, that is academics, at the cost to yourself. Of course, by no way I am arguing that you should not study, but there is a method to that madness, and let us understand that method. Otherwise, you will end up destroying yourself in the long run. I will sum up the first point with respect to being responsible to yourself. That is the first point. I'll sum up by saying that you should pursue your hobbies, your games, your fine arts, interests, whatever. Maybe it is theater, maybe it is art, maybe it is painting, maybe whatever you want to do. There has to be some space for it, even in the hard academic world that you are living in. That space should never be lost out, because creativity, once it is lost, will never come back so very easily. And that will also make you well-rounded personalities, and you will be more productive and happy citizens of this country. Now, the second point. The second point with respect to responsibility to the society around you. Most of the engineering colleges of the country have turned themselves into some kind of assembly line production units. It starts off with the kind of engineering entrance examinations that make you all focus only on studies and coaching institutions, but you don't have enough sense of what is happening around you in the society. This will make you robots or automatons who only are pretty linear in their approach and have no will or inclination to learn about the life around you. So this makes you technically competent but socially incompetent. Your journey begins with social incompetence and ends up with worse social skills. This I have noticed especially so with the engineering graduates who keep working with us. I keep employing some of them at times. And when I do that, I always look at how socially prepared these boys and girls are. And I find that most of them are socially inadequate, despite the fact that they're brilliant, they're very bright in their own chosen fields. Now, that is another major error in our education system. Now, you must not forget that man is a social creature, and not caring for the society around you will make you not just selfish in your pursuits, but also an a badly fitting member of the society. And there is you can't even say that there is some time for it and then we'll do it at a later date. No, actually, there is no such thing as a right time for something. It has to be done then and there itself. A minute gone is a minute gone forever. It never comes back. What I'm saying is applicable not just you students, you to the student, that is, just to you students. I'm also making this statement to the college and possibly the dean and other faculty members, because I know that they too are in part responsible for making the students automatons, robots, and some of them even don't believe that it is worthy, it's a worthy cause to push the students toward the social causes. Maybe giving some academic credit for social activities will help. This is a point that respected Professor Rao and Dr. Viresh Kumar should consider as a part of their giving academic credit for activities beyond the academics. This is something which has to be considered at some point of time. So I would like to urge the students and the college both to focus on the people around the college at a micro level. In Tadepalugudem itself, I'm sure there are so many slums, there are so many underprivileged people around you. During the time when we were in the college, there used to be schemes like the National Service Scheme and the National Cadet Corps, and even we used to be members of the Nehru Yuva Kendra, and there used to be national youth festivals, etc. So we all used to participate. In fact, actually, the participation of the art students and commerce students is much more than the engineering college students. It's partly because the academic schedules are so rigorous that they have no time to pursue their own personal interests and hobbies. So besides these organizations which I mentioned, like Nehru Yuva Kendra or the National Youth Festivals and National Cadet Corps, National Service Scheme, etc., there are also several civil society organizations that abound. There are a good number of them even in Tadepalligudem itself or nearby towns. I think they all require volunteers. They all require support in some form or the other. It's not, life doesn't run only on money. Please believe me when I say this. I'm saying this with more than 3 decades of experience in civil services, with absolute conviction that it's a myth to think that money controls life. Not at all. It's a life that should decide what should control and what should not be controlled by. If you want to be a good human being, it is necessary that you take part in small social causes that will give you a certain happiness, and you will cherish that happiness through your life. And in fact, let me give you this figure. It's a matter of regret, in fact, that there are no NSS volunteers in Andhra Pradesh, whereas a small state like Meghalaya has more than 13,000 youth who are members of the NSS. It's telling something. Please understand whatever it wants to convey. Please get something out of that. So I'll conclude this second thought that social preparation is just as important as the academic preparation. You cannot excel in academic world. Even if you excel in academic world, by being ignorant about the social world around you, you have missed something in life which you can recover, which you can never recover in future. Now, the last point is your responsibility to your nation, the country to which you and I all belong. The first thing is, I hope that the dean is listening to what I'm saying. Number one, know your constitution. The distinction between the fundamental rights and directive principles of the state policy are also not known to so many people. What to speak of understanding the nuances of Indian constitution? Most engineering college students, most engineering graduates actually have no clue of what the basic fundamental rights are and what are the directive principles of state policy. In fact, they enter ignorant, they come out ignorant, which is in fact not a very good thing. So the knowledge relating to the Constitution of India is fundamental to the students. Right from the day one when they enter into the college, they have to be prepared for this. So even before the NIT begins its academic sessions, I suggest that a basic grounding on the Indian Constitution, orientation toward the Indian Constitution should be given to the students in the very first week itself. So 2 days or 3 days of orientation, we have to understand what kind of institutional mechanisms have been created by the Constitution of India. Why we have to protect certain vulnerable sections of the society, and which is as per the mandate of the Indian Constitution, and how the judiciary functions, how the political system works. All these ideas have to be understood, have to be learned by the students in the very first week of their joining the college. So this is as much an appeal to the faculty as it is an appeal to the students that please start trying to understand the Indian Constitution. That's number one. That's your responsibility as a citizen of this country to know your Constitution. Now, second point. After you graduate, that is, of course, you have still a long way to go, maybe almost a 4 years, 4-year tenure you have. So within that, I have the other day found out a very interesting statistic. We have these national organizations which are research-oriented organizations, but they require a lot of technology, like Baba Atomic Research Center, then Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, ISRO, etc. And ISRO is that space research organization. The statistic that I have is pretty shocking to me personally. Only 2% of the employees of the ISRO are from the NITs and the IITs. 2%. Out of every 100 employees, only 2 employees come from the NITs and IITs. Now, experience of working in such institutions, you will be aware of how the country's scientific future is being shaped by these eminent and patriotic scientists. I press that point of the country. You should look around for opportunities in such elite institutions that offer you both the satisfaction of working for the country as well as pursuing a pretty decent career. And secondly, as a part of that, logically, 20% of the students of the IITs and NITs most certainly go abroad, either for higher studies or for jobs. So there should come a time in your life when you want to return to the country. You should want to return to the country. You can't abandon the country to third-rate politicians and fourth-rate bureaucrats. I'm also one of them. So I can say it with certainty that a good percentage, a large percentage, a good proportion of the politicians as well as the bureaucrats have let down this country very badly. And they are not performing as per the expectations of the framers of the Indian Constitution. It is as much a confession as it is a caveat to you to guard yourself from becoming parasites on the nation. I don't want to elaborate this. I don't mean to hurt anybody. But I have to say this, that if you don't begin with the right kind of thinking from day one, there is no possibility of your ever redeeming yourself as the time passes by. Then the third point in this is that it's actually a very important point to start looking at entrepreneurship very seriously. As I know, there are wonderful opportunities relating to the youth entrepreneurship in the country because of the relatively new initiatives. Over the last 3 to 4 years, in fact, I have seen a lot of activity in this. One is like Startup India, Make in India, Jan Dhan Yojana, and lots of ideas have come up to promote young people, to promote entrepreneurship among the young people. Instead of looking for jobs, start creating jobs for others. Be entrepreneurs, be the people who will create livelihoods for other human beings instead of searching for a livelihood for yourself. It cannot happen so very immediately. You might want to go study somewhere, do some job somewhere else, and after a couple of decades, you might want to come back. And please do come back. This country is yours. You can't let go of this country. As I told you once again, you cannot let this country be ruled by illiterate people. And you cannot let yourself be governed by people who do not think enough about the country. Country is number one. Country is your highest priority. If country is going down, you will also go down. So you cannot let the country to go down before people from other countries, before the world, in front of the world. You cannot look small. You cannot feel small. You have to take the country to the highest levels. So for that, you have two opportunities. One is to generate the wealth through the entrepreneurship. Instead of partaking a part of the wealth by being an employee. Okay, you can be an employee for a while till you get that experience. And once you get that requisite experience, I would suggest that you get into entrepreneurship and take the country to a different level by employing everybody else, by taking people along with you, and then making them generate wealth together. Now, last, the very last point. This is important for me personally because I have myself not followed this because nobody told me that this is something that I should have followed. And I'm not blaming anyone. And it took a long time for me to understand that all of us as a country have abandoned our country by not entering into the political system. Now, good people, if they don't enter into political system, bad people will occupy that space. Now, my conclusion is that not now, you are young, but you must have the vision or dream to make a difference to the country by entering into the political system at some point of time. So I've given you three distinct lines. One is the responsibility to yourself. Second, the responsibility to the immediate society in which you are living in. And the third, the broader and larger responsibility towards your nation. All these three are very important for the youth. I don't want to sound like a preacher here. I'm not a preacher by my training. I'm not a preacher. So therefore, I will only make this appeal to you that if these things are not told to the young people, when these things have to be told, then we would have missed an opportunity. So that's why I have taken upon myself this responsibility to mention all such ideas that can make a difference to your lives in times to come. I thank you very much, Dr. Viresh Kumar and Dr. Professor Rao Garu, for giving me this opportunity to speak to you, to speak to the young people. I do not know how much sense I made, but whatever I have said is something which I believe in. So that's why, for whatever worth it is, I hope you will be picking up some strands of thought for your own future life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your excellent speech. And we have received a good positive response. Like 2 students have joined through Cisco WebEx, and 310 students and parents have joined through YouTube also because of certain restrictions in the network. So we have allowed some live streaming in YouTube also, and so few parents and students have joined on YouTube also. So we have received a very positive response for our speech. And thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you.
And actually, I wanted to mention one couple of things. Based on your suggestions, actually, we are having one course called Ethics in our curriculum. We have Ethics course in curriculum where students will visit the surrounding places in and around Karapalagudam, and they'll find the issues where we can solve them with the technological knowledge that they acquired. So that social activities, it is already there in the curriculum. So that's this one thing I wanted to mention to you. And we have a few questions from students, sir. So I'll read it out. So you can send me.
Can I see these boys and girls? In fact, I can't really see any of them.
No, sir. These are from the YouTube. Actually, from the YouTube channel, they have given they raised the questions.
Okay.
So, sir, in your opinion, what is the best way to serve the nation, through civil services or through technology? This is the question asked by Nitin Krishna.
Nitin Krishna.
Yes, sir.
Nikhil
Krishna.
Nikhil. Okay. Nikhil, I don't know how you look like and where you are. Whatever you are, I'm sure we can connect once again in life. The simple point is that it's not in a binary. It's not that civil services versus technology. It cannot be like that. You could be in the civil services and pursuing technology. That is the beauty of being in civil services. And there was a time when I was teaching in the National Academy of Administration, Missouri. Some of you may have heard about that place. I was training these young probationers who have gotten into the civil services. And, good number of IAS officers, IPS officers, foreign service officers, and then and central civil services like income tax, customs, etc. There, I have trained them for almost 4.5 years. So at that time, I was posted as deputy director, and they gave me a special assignment of information technology. Now I'm a basic student of science in agriculture, followed by public administration at Harvard. So what happened? Technology is, it's so far beyond me that it would have been extremely difficult for me to excel in that. But the director at that time, somebody by the name Mr. B.S. Baswan, who was subsequently who became Secretary Ministry of Fertilizers, he said that if that is a challenge, then you take it and then you learn as much as you could. It was such a hard time for me to pick up my best. And within 2 years, that entire information technology environment of LBS and AA, the Masuri, I could change. That's because I was given an opportunity to get into that, and which is possible only through civil services. But I don't want you to think civil services to be the ultimate, not necessarily. We can serve the country in whichever way you would want to, and whatever is your natural calling in life. I mean, if you're naturally extremely proficient in technology, I don't want you to waste your time and then get into civil services and get lost in that bureaucratic quagmire. I don't want you to be doing that. I would rather that you pursue whatever nature has prepared you for to its fullest so that you will enjoy your life while at the same time you will also serve our nation. I hope I have conveyed.
So thank you, sir. There's one more question from Hari Prasad. How should we start UPSC preparation? How should we start UPSC preparation, sir?
Okay. Hari Prasad.
Yes, sir.
Hari Prasad, in fact, civil services is the 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 kind of examination that I took when I got into civil services is not the same examination of late. Things have changed. There was, when we took the examination, we needed to take optionals. Two optionals we had to take. So I took political science and anthropology as my optionals at that time. But now they have reduced it. They have brought it down to just one optional. And they have also expanded the general studies paper to such an extent that you would need to know a little bit of law, a little bit of public administration, a lot of constitution, a lot of general studies, and a lot of many more things. Now, actually, they have even introduced a subject called ethics in civil services now. So, the point that I want to make here is if you take the civil services examination as an end in itself, then your way of preparation will be only examination oriented. But if you take civil services as a way of life and then you want to make some difference to our country, then your approach will undergo a drastic change. You will learn because you love it. Otherwise, you will end up learning something in order to get into it. I hope you will get that difference. It's a little subtle difference, but I need to convey this to you. That you should believe that you are a natural civil servant because you have that sense of public service inherent in you. It is innately prepared. It's already there in you. Then your approach to learning will undergo a great change. That will change the way you look at the world around you. So engineering students generally do well in the civil services examination by virtue of the way it is structured. Examination is pretty straightforward, and either you know or you don't know kind of a thing. So especially prelims. Preliminary is far more difficult than the main examination because preliminary covers virtually anything under the sky. So therefore, it is required that you are sufficiently prepared to 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 everything that's going around you. So that means it will call for an enormous curiosity toward the world around you. So that is the fundamental. If you see this as an examination so that you will pass it and then you will get into it, it will be somewhat like your entrance examinations to get into engineering colleges. Now, don't do that. I mean, the way you have to approach the examination would be very different from the way you approached your examination to get into the CAT or whatever it is. Those examinations. So there will be a joint entrance examination or whatever. Now, I want you to get that fundamental difference first in the mind. Second, once you are through with your graduation, I think they give nothing less than 4 attempts, and then you should be able to make it. That should not be a problem, because close to 60 to 70% of the boys and girls who get into civil services have an engineering background, and mostly they are from the IITs and NITs and reputed engineering colleges. So if you say that when should I begin, I'll say that begin it from today.
Okay, so thank you, sir. There are a few more questions. There were one question from Rajashekar. So, how do you manage time for professional activities and social activities? He is not speaking.
You have to make it. That's it. And all of us have sufficient time. It's in fact, if somebody says I'm so busy to attend to the world around me, then I'm not willing to buy that argument. There's enough time. Everything that we do professionally, it's connected. Especially if you're a civil servant, it is connected. But if you're not a civil servant, also there are how much time you spend on watching video games or playing video games or watching all those useless forwards from WhatsApp, all that we do. In fact, if you can give just 1 hour of your mobile time to social service and social activities, you would have done a lot. You're all getting distracted enormously by this electronic media as well as all these electronic gadgets. I think we can cut down a little bit on that. That will release a lot of time for yourself and for also you can spend more time with your parents and family members. These are all high quality utilization of time. So once you have a certain objective in your mind, which is a social objective, and I'm sure you can find enough time for that. So I'm not easily convinced by somebody who says that my professional life, I'm so very busy that I have no time for social life. No, I don't believe that. That's, to my mind, is nonsense.
Okay, so thank you, sir. There's one more question from Sumuk. So his question is, what is the situation of India in the world compared to other countries? And do you think India is really improving fast, or the growth of India is growth of development in India is very good pace or not?
Sumuk, that's a very interesting question. I think we have to address some fundamental issues in our own economy and in our society. So these issues, some of them have been sorted out in the initial years of our government as it came in post-independence, but most of them have been allowed to fester. Now that they're all like, you know what is a festering wound, because something that doesn't heal at all. Take the case of say Kashmir, or take the case of for issues like uniformity in civil code or triple talaq. There are some fundamental issues which have been plaguing our country for decades. No one had the courage to address those issues. There will be some turmoil in the short run because of adjustments. These adjustments have to be made by the people all around. But once the adjustment is made, then that will become the new normal. I think this country at the moment is going through that transition from that of a passive, reticent, withdrawn, and a little bit of a shy nation to that of a confident and a strong nation which believes in its strength and which doesn't worry about what others think about it. In fact, the problem with your question is that you're a bit concerned about what others think about us. My argument is, if your basic frame of reference is right, then don't worry about what others think about you. You be correct in whatever you are planning to do, whatever you want to do. And what others think about you just doesn't matter. In fact, this I am applying not just to the context of your question, but I am actually talking to all the students at the same time. In fact, we are suppressing ourselves, we depress ourselves by thinking about what others think about us. Don't worry about that. You be yourself. But remember, be always right, be always correct. And once you're correct, you don't have to worry what others think about you. I think that is what our Prime Minister is like. Today, I see him, the more I see him, I think I should see him more as a person whom we should actually get a little feel of how a person should conduct himself. It's not about his political acumen and political wisdom as well as his instinct to survive in this world. No, I'm not worried so much about that. But I see him as a person, and how he conducts himself can be a wonderful role model for our younger generation. So, but that said, about the issues which you mentioned about, one is the social one. I will mention the social aspect, the economic aspects, and the political aspect. Political aspect is more or less stabilized because we have a two-party system. We don't have a two-party system, but we do have a multiple-party system. So they are actually far more representative than many countries' political system. So to that extent, I think our constitution has really done well in keeping us together because everyone feels represented in some form or other. Social system, we do have lots of issues to be sorted out. The economic issues, I'm not worried so much either because it's a dynamic world. In that, somewhere we'll find an equilibrium and we will be able to handle all that. But when it comes to the social system, that's where we have still lots of issues that require to be resolved. And I feel that the present government is doing its best to address these issues, which had not been addressed in the past. That's my personal view, of course.
Thank you, sir. There's one question from Kaushal Tiwari. Sir, how do we make the law understandable to the common people?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Kaushal. In fact, that is one major problem that we have in our country. The laws are made, but no one knows what these laws are for and how these laws will impact our lives. In fact, there is something called legal literacy. It's called legal literacy campaigns. In fact, if you read a little bit on the internet, you will see a lot of information about that. There are some lawyers who have taken upon themselves this responsibility of making the laws simple and easily understood by the normal people, by the ordinary people, because you cannot follow something which you don't even understand. So we have to first understand. Unfortunately, we even in some educated elite also, sometimes I find that their ignorance levels are so very high when it comes to laws. So the nation is making its laws, the parliament is making its laws, the state society, state assemblies are making their laws. Everyone is making laws in this country, especially the elected representatives. That's their business. They do these laws, but they make these laws, but somehow the comprehension with respect to these laws is not very high in our country. So therefore, the compliance levels are also a little less. So we have the kind of systems that we have erected in our country are all making professionals out of legal system. Like, if somebody studies law, he becomes an advocate and then he pursues his profession. It's not his business to educate people. Now, who takes upon himself that responsibility of educating people? Nobody. if you are sufficiently educated yourself, then you will start reading a little bit, but your learning also will be pretty limited because you only get bits and pieces of information. But because you have never been trained in law, you would never understand the whole story of it. This happens to, in fact, most people. In fact, I can say that for myself that there are suddenly I've been in the fields of agriculture, animal husbandry, dairying, fisheries, textiles, etc. All these departments I've handled, and each department has nothing less than 100 to 200 laws, which as a joint secretary in charge of agriculture, sometimes I used to be surprised when I saw a law. Oh, you mean this law also exists? Like that. Being being an IAS officer who's supposed to know all these things, also sometimes I was very that exist in our country right from the British times. If you recall, in this COVID situation, they pulled out a law called the Epidemic Act, which was actually made by the British, and only Minister of Health knew about it. Nobody else knew about it in the country. So creating this legal awareness is something which is very important in our country. I'm glad you flagged this issue very well. But how to take it forward? I have one potential answer. This may not be a complete answer. The answer is that civil society can take upon itself that responsibility of creating legal awareness through campaigns, especially those laws which are relevant, which have a direct bearing on people's lives. I think someone should take that responsibility. I think you have flagged that issue very well, and it has to be left to the domain of civil society. Civil society means NGOs, non-governmental organizations. They can do this kind of a work much better than anybody else. But that would be a commitment to the nation. That means you have to be able to give that kind of time for such awareness creation. And that would be a part of responsibility that I was talking to you about.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for answering all our questions. And thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me giving us or giving our students a motivating talk and clearing their doubts. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks. My pleasure. Can I leave now? And I also have to thank the Dean, Professor Rao Garu, and Mr. Viresh Kumar for getting in touch with me. And also for these young students for listening to me so patiently. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You can leave the meeting room, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, dear students, please wait. We have another speaker. He will be joining soon. He will be joining the meeting room shortly. Okay, so we'll listen to his talk in a while. So please wait in the meeting room. Good morning, sir. Sampath, sir. Good morning. Sorry, sir. Okay. Sir, you're muted. You're in mute, sir. Please unmute yourself. We are unable to hear you. Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir. You couldn't hear you. You could hear
Initially,
you.
I was not able to unmute myself. It said you cannot unmute yourself, something like that.
Okay, okay.
It is also not giving me an option to share.
Sir, I'll give you that option, sir.
Okay. Am I speaking to Dr. Veeresh or?
I'm Krishnithan, sir. I'll be anchoring this session, sir.
Okay. Your name you said, I'm sorry, come again?
I'm Krishna Chaitanya.
Krishna Chaitanya. Okay.
Yes, sir. So now I made you the presenter. So now you can share your option to share will be highlighted.
Yeah, let me try sharing and tell me whether you are able to see.
Yes.
Application window. Are you able to see?
Yes, sir. We could see
What is that you are seeing?
opportunities ahead. Are we ready to grab them?
Yeah. Okay. Let me try to see if you can also see one more slide. Okay, let me go there. How many students are expected, Krishna Chaitanya?
So about 500 students are online, sir.
Okay. Can you just see if you can enter this? Can you? I'm sure most of them have a smartphone.
And sir, just a minute, sir.
Can you just scan that and see whether you can go there?
Yes, sir.
What is that you are seeing?
Menti.com. It's a web page. Menti.com.
Yeah, you need to go to that. You need to key in that passcode 6179990.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Oh,
So how are you feeling today? That's the question. It's been asked, and I enter a word. That's what
okay.
it is giving
Yeah,
me.
already people have joined, is it? Okay, I was just testing. Okay, fine. Let's not go there.
Okay.
Okay, Krishna Chaitanya, just a quick question.
Sir.
Can the students put on their video or
No, sir,
have they?
because a lot of students are there. If all of them start their video, then the bandwidth requirement will be very big, very huge, and we cannot networks will not support that many video channels.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Sure. But
Okay.
maybe you should tell them whoever wants to ask a question,
Yes, sir.
ideally should put on their video and then ask the question so that at least I see the face.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
We
So
have another 5 minutes or what time
we can
are we
start, sir.
starting?
We can start, sir. I'll just give you the introduction and we can start.
Okay, fine, Krishna Chaitanya. I am ready.
Thank you, sir. So now in the session we have Sampatkumar, sir. So for addressing all of you students. So he is a passionate and accomplished HR professional with 21 years of experience with a dream to make significant contributions on both professional and the social front. So in 1999, he finished his Masters of Business Administration from KU Dharwad distinction and first rank to the university. So in 1997, he finished Bachelor of Law from University College of Law, Dharwad. And 1994, he finished Bachelor of Science, Karnataka Science College, Dharwad. He is a human resource professional with 21 years of experience, having handled the entire gamut of HR activities, talent acquisition, organization development, performance management, competency management, compensation, training and employee development. And he has experience in MNCs in the software IT industry, product company, and now the manufacturing company for the past close to 4 years.
Already online.
He was deputed to Germany for 2 years from April 1st, 2006 to 31st March 2008. At present, he is working with Lapp Asia Pacific Private Limited Singapore as Vice President and Head of HR for APAC since 1st October 2020. He was heading HR, IR admin and IT for Lapp India Private Limited Bangalore from July 2012 to September 2017. From 2017 to 2020, he was on a global role based in headquarters in Stuttgart, Germany. Prior to this, he has worked with other MNCs, Software AG as the director and head of HR for India operations. Robert Bosch as manager, C&D, where he worked there for 10 years, and then executive HR in Simplex Solutions. And he has been awarded 50 most influential HR tech leaders in the World HRD Congress in Mumbai in 2016. And he has awarded the 40 Talented HR Leaders Award in the World HRD Congress in December 2012. And he was awarded the HR Leadership Award in the 6th Employer Branding Awards in Hyderabad, December 2011. And apart from this, he has many more awards and achievements. And so we welcome Sampatkumar sir for taking this presentation.
Okay, thank you. Just one question. Is there a chat function where the participants can contribute?
No, sir. No, it's not there.
Oh,
In
there's no
YouTube,
chat function.
yes, there's a parallelly like this session is live streaming on YouTube also. They
Okay.
can enter questions there in YouTube.
But how do I see those questions?
That we will announce it here. As soon as there's a question, we will announce it here, sir.
Questions. I have some housekeeping. Unfortunately, this is not possible because otherwise I'll be talking to the laptop or to the computer, and it is not that great. But that's fine. We'll have to find ways to engage ourselves. We will have a lot of time for Q&A because I always think that it is better that I address the questions that you have rather than telling what I would like to say. So please feel free to ask questions. Unfortunately, again, this is not available for you in the chat. But as your compeer mentioned, you can possibly leave the questions in YouTube wherever they would like you to ask questions, and they'll be read out. But please remember, for me, in whichever sessions I address, I give whatever people ask, and I think it's also true in life. You get what you ask for. Yeah. So at this point in time, let me stop briefly and ask, are you able to hear me clearly, Krishna?
Yes, sir.
Whenever there is a disturbance or if you are not able to hear me, please give me a shout because otherwise I'll not know.
Sure,
If the
sir.
videos are on, then it's much easier. But since the videos are not on, I better get this feedback from you once in a while. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay, brief about me. Thank you. Krishna did a good job. You are Krishna, right? I'm sorry if I've taken
Yes,
a
sir.
wrong.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. You're right.
Krishna did mention quite a bit about me, but just I thought I can give you a bit more perspective of who I am, a bit about my family, because when your professor, your dean, asked me to address you, and that is 500 students, so it's not an easy job. I thought, let me give you a brief perspective of where I come from so that I can possibly try and motivate you, possibly try and tell you that I have a very humble beginning. Yeah, I am not from IITs, I'm not from IIM, but I'm quite happy today that I have achieved what I wanted to in the past 21 years of experience working in human resources. So, as you see, my name is Sampatkumar B. Aratti. Those of you who are interested, you can get in touch with me on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn by this name. Currently heading HR for APAC countries, that's about 14 countries, for a company called Lapp Asia Pacific. I just shifted here to Singapore about few months ago. Just 2 months ago, I started this new role. And prior to that, I've spent majority of my time in Bangalore. Though I have 21 years of experience, I have worked only with, this is only my third company, actually fourth company. The first company was just for 6 months. So I worked for companies like Bosch for 10 years, another company called Software AG, which is another German company, for 3+ years, and now with Lapp for 8.5 years. So I've had a good fortune of working in Germany for 5 years, 3 years when I was working with Lapp just before this assignment, and 2 years when I was with Bosch. So that is my brief on the professional side. On the right hand side, top corner, you see my family. Blessed to have one wife, a daughter, and a son. About my passion, I love teaching, training, and coaching. And that's the reason whenever I get an opportunity to talk to students, share my little experience, of course, I would by no stretch of imagination say that I've achieved anything great in life. But yes, whatever little I have achieved, I am satisfied. And that I think is very important. And as I said, and I repeat, I don't come from the top institutes or tier one institute. I don't think many of us have the privilege of being there. But just to let you know that if you have the dreams, you can achieve them irrespective of which institute you come from. And just to let you know, I have worked with some of the best B school students, IIMs, IITs. They are no different. Yes, they have a better IQ, but at the end of the day, which I'll try to convey through this message of mine in this brief 1 hour discussion, that IQ is just one small part of it. Brand or the college is just one small part of it. Rest all is what you are, and that is what you make yourself out of what you are. Yeah. My current leisure, when I'm not talking to students, when I'm not training, when I'm not teaching, when I'm not having commitments on the office because of the weekend, I am generally cycling, because I firmly believe, and I'll tell my story maybe slightly later or in the very fact end of this discussion. Unless you have a strong physical body, you cannot have a strong mind. And unless you have a strong physique and a strong mind, you cannot be successful in your life. That's according to me. So that is in brief about what I am. So now if you all can quickly go to this menti.com, I'm sure 90% of you have a smartphone. If you can just quickly go to Menti and answer that question. Let me see if I can share that with you all. What you all are feeling, especially after COVID. Uh, Let me see whether you are able to see. Are you all able to see this? Menti.com? One of you, can you please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are able to see.
Okay. Yeah, if you're 500, I would expect, please take time and you tell me actually what you are feeling. Don't tell me what you think others should know. I'm happy that some of you are very honest. You get what you ask for, you get what you really portray. So please tell the truth. Just don't copy. Feelings cannot be copied. Tell me actually what you're feeling today, which is very important. Krishna, is it possible that some of them can unmute themselves?
I'm reading them. I'm reading them, sir.
No, no, no. I can see it. But my
Okay.
question is, can anybody unmute themselves or nobody can unmute themselves?
Yes, sir. We can unmute.
Okay. So, because I would have some questions for some students, if they can contribute, because this is a discussion, friends. I forgot to mention this should be a discussion and not a lecture. I'm not here to give you a lecture. Yeah. So, can I ask somebody who, let's start with good news. Somebody who has written good or excited or great. Can you please unmute yourself and tell me why?
Good.
Can one of the students who has written good,
Hello,
excited,
good morning,
great,
sir.
or happy? Yeah, please.
Sir, I'm Jay Kiran.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir, I have written great, superb, and awesome, sir.
Why? Why is that? I'm happy to hear that, but why?
Sir, generally, everyone feel that their day is routine, like the day before or the means future day. But I expect really great in every day and start with great and enthusiasm. Means with great enthusiasm. I
Okay.
really love to start a great day like that.
Excellent. Very good. Now let me
Thank you, sir.
hear from somebody else. Somebody says hungry. My goodness, I thought it was not even lunchtime for you guys, but fine. As far as you're hungry for knowledge, I'm happy that you are here. But I'm also happy if you're hungry because I know you'll not sleep. Yeah. But I am keen to hear from somebody who says curious.
Yes, sir. I said curious.
Why? Why are you curious?
So because now in the Corona time, this sir, the whole world has been changed. So that the every aspect of the world has been changed. There's new technologies are coming. We are exploring the new world. So that but sir, history also tells us that whenever there is a breakthrough, whenever there is a circumstances worse, there is something come out to be new.
Absolutely. Your name, please.
So my name is Devesh. Devesh
David.
Future.
Excellent, Devesh. Something which I really believe in. Yeah, and I'll share it in the form of my own story. But excellent, Devesh, I like. I mean, this is what should be the actual thing. Yeah, you should be curious at the same time have the passion. And there are some people who are worried. Can somebody let me know why are you worried? Feeling lonely? Why? Yes. Can somebody who says they are fatigued, they are not happy, they are feeling lonely? Why? Yes, I'm not able to hear it properly. Well, we will talk about it. I know this is the problem. When
Sir,
somebody is feeling lonely and is not talking about it, that is where you will feel all the more hopeless. That is where you will feel sad. That is where you will actually go down further. You will not feel motivated. Yeah. So my request, my humble request to those of you friends, I'm happy that you are being honest. You're writing that you're feeling lonely, you're feeling bad, you're feeling uh, I mean really sad. But unless you talk to people about it, you are not going to help yourselves. Yeah. Fine, let's move on. That gives me a good idea as to what I need to cover. So let me ask you another question, very direct question. And this is again very important. I want you to actually answer this question. Krishna, are you able to see the next question? How has COVID affected you? Is the question.
Yes, sir. I could see.
Yeah, can you please answer this question and let me know how has COVID actually affected you? It could be anything to do with your mind, with your studies, with your health. It can be anything. Some people might say they have become obese, they have put on weight. Let me see. Impact on studies. Please go on. I want to hear from almost all of you. And please be prepared to answer the questions.
Sir, could you please share the QR code again?
It is 6179990. 6179990. Did you get it? I will repeat it again. 6179990. That is 6179990.
Sir,
Yes.
where we have to use the code, sir?
When you go to menti.com, it will ask you for a code, and that is where you need to key in the code.
Sir, it is asking me
It just
6-digit
asked
code, sir.
me the question, sir.
Yeah, then go ahead and answer the question. Just answer the question. And you are seeing on the screen, there are so many people who are answering. They are able to get across to it. Sleeping hours increased. I'm happy. You are so honest, huh? Made me fat and unfit. I'm trying to see if somebody has positive impact that they've had. Unfortunately, not many. Helped. I do not know how. Can somebody who has written helped, can you tell me how it has helped you?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
So,
Sir,
sir,
well, it helps.
sir, hello, excuse me,
Hello,
sir, can I talk with you?
One by one,
Hello,
please.
sir.
Yes, please. Yes,
present.
yes, yes.
Sir, my name, myself, Ravindra, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
Ravindra.
this Corona time changed me a lot of in my future, for my future also, sir. In through the education, through the relationship with our parents after coming from the hostels, and it educated me how to clean ourselves and how to be healthy for our body, and how to make exercises or anything else to keep our body healthy. And
Good.
COVID time also learned me a lot of education about to take our future be serious, and if we are neglected our future means there is no time. This time helped me a lot for second mains, and I got 98 percentile through for the because of because of this COVID helped me a lot. So that because of that only I got
Okay.
sleep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you Krishna,
Yes.
so
Sir.
how much time do we have till is it 1 hour 15 minutes for me? 1 more hour or
Yes, sir. You can have till
12
12:15.
Sir,
15? And it's 11 o'clock now, right?
11:30, sir.
11:30. So another 45 minutes, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Based on it, I can. Yeah. There was a girl who wanted to say something.
sir, namaste. My name is Anisha, sir. Uh,
Yes, Anisha.
Sir, this corona pandemic has changed everything, sir. Everything has come to the standstill position. In this point of time, I have learned so much, sir, like helping nature and all. So, though in few months we couldn't go outside and help physically, but then somewhat after few months we tried to help people. We went and we donated many things. That gave me a sort of satisfaction which cannot give me. Even my parents would give me a lot of gifts. That is the peace I got when I helped people, sir. I really like this COVID time. I really donated a lot of things. It made me so much happy, sir.
Very good. I'm happy to hear positive things also. So, uh, am I back to the slides? Are you able to see, Krishna?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Anvisha. Thank you, all of you, for your feedback. I would like to just talk to you about a few stories, a few aspects, a few facts. How many of you have heard about this great gentleman, Thomas Alva Edison? I'm not sure how many of you heard. I would have loved to ask it in a chat. But, anyways, I do not know how many of you have heard, even if you have heard about him. I do not know if you recollect or if you have heard about this incident when his entire factory was burning down. Krishna, I think you should mute everybody now.
Okay, sir.
Don't mute me. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise there is a lot of disturbance.
Yes, sir. I have muted all.
Okay, great. Because otherwise the disturbance, you're able to see now, right, Krishna?
Yes, sir. We could see the slides.
For those of you who have read about this incident, fantastic. But those of you who have not read about this incident, it was way back in 1914, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Edison's factory was burning down. What would somebody do when the factory is burning? They would shout, yell, cry, which you have seen in most of the Hindi movies. But here was a great man, a great scientist, who called his adult son and said, "Go and call your mother and let her see how the factory is burning. They may never have a view of this again in their life." You might feel that this guy is crazy. And his son thought so. He said, "What are you talking about? Our factory is burning." And then he says, "Look, along with the fact I'm aware that the factory is burning. I've tried my best and I know I can't do anything beyond this. That is an adversity. How do I react to it? I can yell, shout, I can cry, I can curse somebody, but the fact is, nothing can do." So he also said, let me look at the positive side of it. We have done a lot of bad things. We have taken a lot of wrong decisions through this factory. Everything is going to be burnt off. From tomorrow, I start afresh. And true to his words, the very next day, he started off afresh. Another example, Arunima Sinha. Again, I'm quite confident. If I put a chat and ask how many of you know about her, I'm pretty confident not many would be knowing about her. That's the truth. And the same if I ask how many of you know Amitabh Bachchan or Salman Khan or Shah Rukh Khan, 99.9% of us know all these names. Arunima Sinha, if some of you are keen to go back and see how adversity, how somebody reacts under adversity. I was so happy to see some of your comments. This lady, and I was fortunate to meet her face to face, a young girl, I think around 18, 19 years she was, a national champion in basketball. When she was traveling by train in the night, some idiots actually tried to molest her. Trying to save herself, she jumped out of the train and she came under the train. Both her legs got cut. She was lying on the train with both the legs cut, rats going around because of the blood the whole of the night, because it happened somewhere in Bihar in between two stations and nobody even noticed till early morning. This happened in the midnight. This lady who lost both of her legs, my dear friends, if you go and read her story, you will surely know how we are all so fortunate. This girl who had both her legs cut, she went on to go up and climb Mount Everest with amputated legs. If she can do so, COVID is just a reason that some of us give that we are not doing well or we have become fat. These are all reasons that we should not give. Please, those of you who really want to understand how we need to look at the adversity like COVID, like any other adversities, COVID is just one external thing. There could be anything. Suddenly, life has a plan for you, but you can certainly make it as an advantage. As somebody has rightly said, whatever happens, happens for the good. You don't look at it as a short term. Yeah. And this is one classic example of how, and even today, she is one of the motivation speakers which I would love to listen day after day, many a times. I'm not sure if you heard about this small story of a father was getting ready to go to office. The kid comes and spills coffee on him. How can he react? He can either yell at the kid, thereby he will spoil his mood. The kid will cry. The kid cries, and obviously he or she will miss the bus. The father has to go and drop the kid to the school. He will get delayed to office. His mood is disturbed. All that. So if I ask you the question, what made this? it is not the kid. It is the reaction of the father to the kid spilling the coffee. Yeah, it's easier said than done. If you are a mature person, if you have a mature mind, what you will actually do is tell the kid in a very calm way, saying that, look, because of its activity, his dress is spoiled and he will get late. If you tell it calmly, any kid will learn from it. But unfortunately, as you might feel, these are all theory, but the truth is I have tried implementing some of these and I have found success as well, which I can answer in some of the Q&As if you have questions. The first question I have: how do you all start your day? Unfortunately, I would have loved to have this session face to face, but some of the facts which I know, because some of us cannot live with us. There is an overdose of social or mobile. A lot of us keep mobile under our pillow. A lot of us are going away from good health because of the social media. Facebook, WhatsApp are killing people and students. That's the truth. And there are hardly any exception unless you make up your mind. Yeah. Is this how you start your day? News, another huge unfortunate thing. Hardly anything positive. During COVID, I'll not be surprised if there were more people who are dying because of the anxiety rather than COVID. Because of the news. I mean, I know of many friends and relatives who were tracking COVID as if they are tracking their BP and sugar. Not worth it. Are we doing exercise, yoga, and meditation? This is something which has helped me all through my life. And for somebody who put in the chat that they have become fat, let me tell you, I was weighing 96 kgs at one point in time not long ago. Yeah, of course I had a reason. Mind always gives reason for something which you are not doing right. I had a slip disc operation, after which I put on a lot of weight. I reached 96 kgs just for short of a century. I will share with you in the end, if you are keen, as to what I am weighing just yesterday because of what I am currently doing. And that is where, just enough to tell you that if you really want to make a difference for yourself, I'm not talking about the world yet. If you want to make a difference to the world, first make a difference for yourself. And if you want to make a difference for yourself, have goals in mind. I'm sure all of us have this. I sometimes hate this person who has actually invented this snooze function. I'm sure a lot of us can associate ourselves. Somebody, when they hear, okay, I would do my exercise from tomorrow, let me wake up at 5. The first thing most of us do is snooze. I'm really hating this, because the moment you snooze, you're actually giving off your mind. I know mind always is resist change, but that is one of the most dangerous things. If you are sure that you want to wake up at 5:15, keep the alarm at 5:15, not at 5 and snooze for 15 minutes. Because when you start the day with a negative thing, when you start your day lazily saying, okay, come on, let me sleep, believe me, if you make it a habit of getting up in exact at 5. My late father, I'll try and see if I have time to tell you his story. Even if he slept at 1 o'clock in the midnight till he died, unfortunately I lost him a few years ago, he would get up at 4:35 every day. That is because of the hard life that he had spent as a student. So my dear friends, one of the advice, please don't take it as an advice, one of the things that I can tell you, what has helped me to be successful, I can call myself confidently successful, because I don't compare myself with others. I know what I am, I know what I wanted to do, and that will certainly help you. Please don't look at your neighbors before you buy a BMW. If you are happy in a Maruti, so be it. Please have, as they say, stretch your legs to the extent of your own mattress and not the mattress of others. So let's do a quick activity, and I would like you to do it very sincerely. Can I request all of you to stretch both your hands straight? I'm not sure whether you are able to see. Krishna, are you able to see me?
Yes, sir, I could, but
Okay.
only your face. Could not see anything else.
Okay,
Yeah.
can you see me now?
Yes, yes. Now you can see.
Can you stretch, all of you, can you please stretch your hands like this if you are all able to see me? Close your eyes, completely close your eyes. Try and see if you can avoid any thoughts. And just imagine that on your right hand, you have 100 kgs of iron. I repeat, on your right hand, you have 100 kgs of iron, and on your left hand, you have 100 kgs of cotton. Just imagine, both the hands are straight forward. On your right hand, you have 100 kgs of iron, and on your left hand, you have 100 kgs of cotton. Open your eyes slowly and try and see what has happened to your hands. If you have done this activity very seriously, I would like some of you to tell me what actually happened. Anybody?
Yes, sir.
What happened?
Both
Sir,
hands
my
went
right
forward,
hand
sir.
comes down and left hand comes up.
Thank you so much. Who was that?
Suraj.
What? Suraj. Thank you, Suraj.
Sir,
Suraj,
my
why do you
both
think
hands went down, sir.
yes?
Sir,
For those of us, because I'm sure we are 500 of you, I would have loved to do this in a face to face discussion because I have seen this. If you religiously do this, 80% of us, I can tell you, 80% of us, our right hand goes down. Can anybody tell me why? Can anybody tell me
sir.
why? Yes, please.
Because
Hello, sir.
because we think that iron is hard and cotton is soft. Therefore,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is what our subconscious mind is all about. Yeah. Friends, what I please remember what I said 100 kgs of iron should be weighing exactly the same as 100 kgs of cotton. If we did it seriously in a meditative pose, not thinking of anything else, the subconscious mind tells you that iron is heavier, boss, so your right hand automatically comes down. Why did I say 80%? Because the 20% of us are very attentive to what we hear, and we are logical in saying, okay, 100 kgs is the same whether it is iron or cotton. But the truth is, a lot of times your subconscious mind takes over your conscious mind, and that is where we need to actually train. We need to give enough food for thought for our subconscious mind. And if somebody does not know what is a subconscious mind, please start meditating. Meditation might look very difficult. Some of you might say, I'm too young for learning meditation. But today, honestly, I thank my late dad for having put me that habit of learning meditation and yoga, which has actually helped me to do what I am today. And I cannot talk much because we have a lot of things to cover. So let me get going, and I will still be open for some question answers when we do it. How many of you have goals? How many of you do New Year resolutions? Anybody? Or let me say, if somebody never did New Year resolutions, I would request you to unmute yourself and tell me. Yes, anybody? Anybody who has never had a New Year resolution? So is
sir,
it? Yes, please.
I
Yes.
never did that, sir.
Why? What's your name?
Tilak.
Tilak. Why did you never do a New Year resolution?
I never think about it, sir.
Why? My question is why? Because New Year is coming, no?
As I don't
Tilak.
know, sir.
Okay, Tilak,
Sir,
fine. Let me ask you something else. Have you
yes,
ever
sir.
set have you ever set a goal for yourself? It could be anything. on your physique, on your getting up, on your studies, on your marks, anything? Yes,
No,
no,
sir.
no. Okay, then I'm sorry, I'm talking to the wrong guy, Tilak. I think you have
Okay.
me to go. Yeah. Can I talk to somebody else who has a New Year resolution? Yes, please.
Saving money, sir.
Manish. Yes, Manish.
Manish, no, Satish, sir.
Satish. Okay. Yes, Satish. You have set New Year resolutions.
Saving money, sir.
Saving money. Oh, okay. And have you been able to do it, Manish?
Sir,
Have you been able to do it? Yes. Well, Krishna, how much more time? I tend to lose track because I'm on a different time zone.
25 minutes, sir.
25 minutes.
Yes, yes.
And that includes the time for question and answers, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, friends, in that case, okay, let's address this. Let me tell you what is important. New Year resolutions, and there was a study done. Krishna, you can mute everybody, please. Uh, there was a study done, and you can associate yourselves possibly with that. The truth is, a lot of times, or maybe 80% of the times, the New Year resolutions are broken in the first 2 months. So December 31st, you have New Year resolutions. By February, it is already broken. And at your career, I mean, at your stage of life, most of your students, the New Year resolutions are generally like, okay, let me get up at 5 o'clock, let me do exercises, let me study more, let me save money, like Manish mentioned. But most of us do not actually continue that resolution even for 3 months. Yeah. And I have seen this happen as well in my own life in the early part, and hence it's very easy to say let me not have new year resolutions, as one of your friends said. But is that the solution? When you are saying, when you do not want to have any new year resolutions, you are saying you do not want to have any goals. Both are wrong. My only humble submission to you is, please have goals in life. Unless you have a goal, you will not know where you are going. There's a very nice saying which says, you're going in a particular direction and you get into a junction where there are four roads. So you ask somebody, a passerby, where does this road go? They say it goes to Hyderabad. Where does this road go? It goes to Bangalore. Where does this road go? The passerby gets irritated and he asks, where do you want to go? And this, if you tell him anywhere is fine, then he'll say, take any of the route. How does it matter? So unless you know where you are going, it is extremely difficult for you to reach your goal. The only additional thing I would say here, 90% of the people do not disclose their goals. Anybody knows why? Well, I do not want to unmute yourself because again it will create a lot of chaos. The truth is, there is something called a fear of failure. I do not want to share my goals to my friends. I do not want to tell my friends that I want to reduce my weight. I do not want to tell my friends that I want to be the first ranker in school. Because what if it doesn't happen? Will I be feeling ashamed? This is the only reason. This is the major reason why most of us don't reach our goals. My humble submission to all of you, I'm not saying go and publish it in the newspaper, but at least in your close friend circle, in your relatives, have a few people whom you can talk to, whom you can confide in. Tell your goals to them. That is what will help you to achieve your goals. And I can share many examples about it. Overthinking and negative thinking. I'm again not sure how many of you actually have this problem, but research shows that there are plenty of us who have this problem of negative thinking or overthinking. And the truth is, if you actually analyze all the things that you have worried about in the past, I can request you all to do this activity today. Please, when you are done for the day, when your induction is done for the day, go back and write down all the things that you are worried about in the past 2 months and how much of mind you have spent on it, how much of blood you have burnt on it, and see what percentage of those things that you're worried about actually happened. I'm sure 80% of us in this call would have thought, what if Corona comes to me? And I'm quite confident not more than 10% of us would have actually got Corona in this entire group of 600 people. Yeah. So, what I'm trying to tell is this unfortunate habit of overthinking or negative thinking. And again, as I said, in research, it has been shown psychologically 8 out of 10 times that we have overthought, and that too in the negative way, has actually not happened. So, my humble submission to you all, don't ever spend your energy, vital energy, don't ever spend your peace of mind unnecessarily thinking of negative things. But it doesn't mean be foolish, it doesn't mean not to be careful, but only think, don't put too much of stress on negative thoughts. I know it's easier said than done. To me, the only solution, again, have a strong mind. For that, the only solution, go back to yoga and meditation. Well, I would not go into details here because, again, we just have about 15-20 minutes left. I would like to leave the last 15 minutes for question answers. But as students getting into engineering, as students getting into professional life, you should know some of these cases. If you know what happened to Lufthansa, what happened to Bajaj, and the last two cases, at least I'm sure you should know Kodak and Nokia, no more there. At some point in time, maybe a couple of decades ago, if I'm not mistaken, Kodak was serving 85% of the market. 85%. Within 3 years, Kodak had to close down its shop. The only reason, which some of you possibly know, is because they did not think, they did not change at the right time. Nokia was a world leader. It was the world leader in mobiles. Today, where is Nokia? Hardly single digit market share. Why? They did not change. Same is the catastrophe which is happening with COVID. I'm happy to hear some of you say that you are positive in your outlook. You have considered that lockdown has actually helped you. Some of you rightly said it has actually helped you become more fitter. But there is other side of the story. 80% of us saying we are feeling lonely. There is